I mean, homeownership has long been a symbol of attaining the great American dream,
Absolutely.
right? But according to Land Cold Capital's Todd Schoenberger, owning a home right now is a sucker's game and will leave you suffering from buyer's remorse.
Pretty strong words. He's got an op-ed heating up CNBC.com that says just about that. And he's here to explain more. Also with us is real estate analyst Dani Babb and CNBC's very own Diana Olick.
Yeah, we have Todd in an undisclosed location. He's hiding right now.
So make the case.
Yeah, what are you talking about here, Todd?
All right, look, guys. Real estate, here's the problem you're going to have, though. When you look at growth prospects for housing that's taking place, the numbers do not support that we are even close to a housing recovery. What we saw in, obviously, the break from 2009 with the implosion. But going forward, there's nothing to support that you're going to see the growth that everybody keeps telling us about. You have a millennial generation that's clearly in debt. You have a debt-to-income ratio that's continuing to rise for Americans. People just don't have the cash right now to go out and buy a home. And if you do buy that home, you're now facing higher maintenance costs, higher property taxes. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to go own property right now.
Dani, what do you think? I mean, there's pride of ownership, but does it make financial sense to want to buy a home right now for most people? And will it be the nest egg that has been the case for previous generations in this country?
I think it's impossible to predict. I think as we start to see minority buyers become more prominent, as the Harvard study released a couple of weeks ago is indicating will happen around 2025. That's a long time from now. If you're trying to time the market and flip a property and use it as a get-rich-quick scheme, I think that you're a complete fool. If you're trying to move into something because rental prices in your area are very high, you don't want to rent, you want the tax break while there is still one for home interest, and it just makes financial sense for you for where you're at. I don't think it's overall a blanket foolish decision.
Yeah, let me, Diana, pick up on that because you have really followed the increases in rental properties very, very closely for us. And rents in many parts of the world and many parts of this country are extremely high.
They are, absolutely. So look, home ownership is not for suckers. Home ownership is just not for everyone. We talk about the millennial generation, about them being more mobile, about them having more debt. They're also younger, they're marrying later, they're having children later. We have to start thinking of home ownership as less of this quick investment where we're going to make a lot of money and more of, look, it's a place to live. Because if we only think of it as an investment, then you're going to say, why buy a car? Because the second you drive a car off the lot, you're losing money on that. You live in a home, you nest in a home, you raise a family in a home, and you pay a mortgage, which is forced savings. That is, you are building savings in that home, even though we had a crash, a historic crash. Home ownership does yield returns in the long term.
Todd?
Okay, Diana, you're talking about exactly what I've been trying to say. You're talking about investing into the home. Therefore, if you are investing in that home, building that nest egg, don't you want to look at a proper rate of return then? And keep in mind, let's look at the risk component of this. I mean, if you do buy that home, chances of you actually being able to sell the home at a profit are actually minimal.
At
only
a profit,
because you have so many
absolutely, you're going to sell at a profit, but not if you sell it 6 months after you buy it, unless you're on the Flippers show. Look, you got to wait. You have a time horizon.
Okay, so Todd, you're saying that even long term, I mean, I don't know how long out you want to go here. You're saying you're just not going to make any money on a house if you buy it right now?
You can't say that.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. However, there are better opportunities out there right now with a lower risk correlation. Look at the stock market right now. Why would I go into something with a house where I go and actually buy property?
Because you cannot live in a stock.
How many?
You can't live in a stock. You need someplace to live.
Hold on. Diana, hold on. And then you have higher maintenance costs. Property taxes continue to go up in this country. Why would I buy something with all these other ancillary expenses that are out there when I could just simply rent? I can move if I wish, or I could continue to rent in that same location.
Because renting is more expensive, and because renting, you can't do a lot of the things that a lot of people like to do to their homes. Investing in their homes is not just a monetary return. It's something people like to do. Why is House Hunters one of the most popular shows on HGTV? All those renovation shows, because people like to renovate. They like to compare to other people's homes. It's human nature to nest in a home, raise your kids, write their height on the wall. It's all about
factor and the economic factor, Todd. I think a lot of things you're talking about are purely economic factors. There are also other factors to discuss here, which are sociological factors. So we have a younger generation that wants more mobility. Fine, absolutely. That's not going to change. We also have people who want to feel like they have a stable place to live, who do believe and understand that over the long term, 15, 20 years, they will still get a return return, and they're not paying rent on top of that to someone else with no tax break. It's not a blanket one-size-fits-all solution to rent or to buy.
Look, I say step away from the property side of this, guys. And you're right. I guess if you continue to put money into this and you're building some equity, you might actually get something out of it. However, I look at the risk part of it, that ancillary part of it, plus the back-end generation, the millennials, are not going to be able to pick up the slack to actually build and increase that demand. It's just a sucker's game right now. I think you're foolish to actually go out and buy property.
Okay.
Well, you got everybody's attention, that's for sure. We all been talking about it. Thank you all for a very intelligent conversation on a very important issue in our economy right now. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.